Ladies and gentlemen, if you continue watching this video, I want only positivity. I want forward thinking, strategic thought, analysis, and evaluation from you. I don't want, that's it, it's the end of the planet, the end of the world, we'll never have a functioning democracy. I am a former Bernie Sanders supporter. I used to be the biggest Bernie Sanders booster on the internet, according to the Huffington Post. I used to be the unofficial scribe of Sanders' most hardcore voters, according to the Washington Post. I know why Debbie Wasserman Schultz was forced to resign in disgrace. I know what they did to Bernie Sanders. I know that they almost certainly DNC primaried the entire country. That's another story, ladies and gentlemen. What are you going to do right now peacefully and legally to regain political power? Well, the first thing you need to do is hit subscribe to this channel. Let's get to 200,000 subscribers. Don't be that type of person who says, oh, that's it, I'm unsubscribing, everything's lost. President Trump formally conceded to Biden. He did so a couple minutes ago. It's official. Is it fair or just or right? Well, you know my viewpoint on that. I know your viewpoint if you're watching this. Was the DNC primary fair and neutral? We can go on forever pertaining to the disingenuous, duplicitous nature of the Democratic Party. We can go on forever about how they didn't care about exclusive $1 billion in damage. The most expensive in insurance history. The past 5-6 months leading up to the election saw the most peaceful First Amendment rights being displayed that led, ironically, or in a peculiar manner, to $1 billion in property loss. Over $1 billion. $1 billion plus in insurance claims. Of course, I'm talking about the peaceful, very peaceful but fiery protests. And for the people who are apoplectic and indignant and say, oh my God, look at what happened yesterday. You didn't say anything about the numerous cities that were engulfed in flames and all the chaos and mayhem. You said, well, that's just people venting their frustrations, and this is America, and then yesterday, oh my goodness. But you're talking, ladies and gentlemen, look, we've gone beyond now proving the hypocrisy of Democrats and media. We already know that. We know that they're hypocritical. We know that they engage in very dirty and shady tactics. You had Democratic operatives in 2016 fomenting altercations in Trump rallies, and they were forced to resign. The DNC emails are just as relevant today as they were in 2016. We know the system is a corrupt system. We already know this. I voted for President Trump because he is... I watch my segment prior to this one. He's the best president of my lifetime. If you're watching, he's the best president of your lifetime, very likely. And 74 million supporters of President Trump voted for him, not for a Republican. Most of the people, or a good percentage, I should say, didn't vote because it was a GOP candidate. Mitt Romney wouldn't even have received 60 million votes. He barely got 60 million in 2012. And he's even less inspiring and has less charisma than he did 8 years ago. And he's one side of the same coin. Pelosi and Romney are the same people when it comes to foreign policy and grandiose issues. But hit subscribe to this channel. You want to get positivity. You want to get positive feedback. And you want to get a forward-thinking perspective. How do we regain political power? In 2022, we get the House, instant impeachment, because Biden lied endlessly pertaining to his business dealings with his son Caligula. The United States government is now investigating his son, Caligula. All the investigations lead to Biden. Now you have MSNBC and CNN talking about how, you know what? We need to remove President Trump and the 25th Amendment because he's not right in the head, and we need to impeach him again. And you know what? Oh my God, who knows what he's capable of in the next 2 weeks? It's like, it's Democrats. One person on MSNBC was saying, oh yeah, he might go ahead and give state secrets. It's like, no, you're the ones who use private servers. Where even James Comey stated, yeah, he can't be certain that foreign actors didn't infiltrate Madam Secretary Clinton's servers for 4 years. She used private servers with top secret intelligence on them. Then Anthony Weiner had classified intelligence on his servers, on his Weiner. And then you have, just speaking of Wieners, now you have Eric Swalwell, who fell in love with a foreign intelligence operative. And then you had Dianne Feinstein, who had an intelligence operative working alongside her. Are you kidding me? There's more classified data. There was more classified data floating around outside of President Obama's administration and outside of the Democratic Party than there is within government networks. Because Democrats are so irresponsible and incompetent and inept when it comes to cybersecurity. Everything they own is infiltrated by another country. In 2016, and then now you have, Russia infiltrated us again. Yeah, well, how do you think they got into these networks? It wasn't Trump. But how do you regain political power? President Trump has a 90% approval rating within the Republican Party. You completely transform the Republican Party into a populist political party, which is what President Trump did, single-handedly almost. He won in 2016 because media was not ready for Trump. They threw everything at him, but it didn't work. But they spent 4 years investigating tinfoil hat fantasies, accusing him just on baseless allegations. They're the ones who engaged in baseless allegations. But see, again, you need to win the media battle. You need to win the battle of emotions. There needs to be more of an effort to either create, like Trump needs to create his own media company. Newsmax is great, but it's relatively small compared to Fox. And Fox News isn't really on the side of President Trump, always. So you need the equivalent of the Washington Post and the New York Times and MSNBC and CNN. Otherwise, it's going to be an uphill battle. You need to get journalists that have a conservative perspective, or perhaps even a populist conservative perspective. Hopefully within the Wall Street Journal or other publications. I mean, you have publications like the National Review, but they're more inclined to defend the Mitt Romneys of the world than they are Trump. So, I mean, you have an ideological issue there's a dilemma that the Republican Party faces. You have 10% of the Republican Party that is the Mitt Romney, Ben Sass wing, and 90% the populist wing. And President Trump is able to galvanize and garner a tremendous amount of enthusiasm. He did better among non-white voters. He got a greater percentage of Black and African American voters and Latino and Hispanic voters and Asian American voters than any Republican ever. Why? Why? Because he's able to speak to people, but see, again, he's able to, the economy, we had record lows in the economy, in unemployment, record lows in unemployment, and the economy was soaring and booming all throughout President Trump's tenure, throughout most of his tenure. 2020 and the pandemic were not Trump's fault, but media made it Trump's fault. And Republicans did not back President Trump, yet they utilized everything he brought to the table. So unless you embrace Trump's populist message, you're going to lose miserably to Democrats. They don't care if cities are engulfed in flames. They care about Trump supporters and yesterday, which President Trump condemned. And he just recently stated that there's a formal transition, orderly transition, and he concedes officially, and he also vowed, he said the journey is just beginning. So, this is not a moment, like, please, if you watch this channel, and go ahead and share this segment everywhere, it's extremely important, but this is not a moment to say, woe is me, oh my God, the sky is falling. And you get back down, you got to rebound. That's the mark of a human being, a great human being, man or woman. That's the mark of somebody that fights. When you get knocked down, what do? Wallow and just, oh my God, oh no, You learn from your mistakes. You get back up, you keep fighting, and you keep trying to improve your life. And if it's the political party that you like, or if it's a political movement you want to see prosper, you then continue to work to make it what it once was or make it better than it ever was. President Trump should never have had 4 years, people. I don't know if anybody really understands this. The system is not only rigged against somebody like Trump, the system is designed to prevent a Trump from becoming president. President Obama and Bush were the same people. Just ask the citizens of Libya and ask the citizens of other countries, Iraq, Afghanistan, other places. The neoconservatives in Bush's administration, the Lincoln Project people, are within the Democratic Party. You need to, for the next 4 years, explain, hey, we don't want interventions. We don't want regime changes. We don't want endless military conflict. I was a former lefty. This brought me to President Trump. And then President Trump signed an executive order combating anti-Semitism on college campuses, which is running rampant. Using the definition of the IHRA, President Trump renegotiated NAFTA. We have USMCA now. President Trump presided over peace deals, Israel, Bahrain, UAE, Morocco, Serbia, Kosovo. These are all wonderful achievements. First president to step foot in North Korea, and that was a paradigm-changing moment in world history where President Moon Jae-in stated that Trump deserved the Nobel Peace Prize. But you didn't get any of this information from the MSNBCs and CNN, even the New York Times and Washington Post. Every day was like a boxer, body blow, just hit the body, and then boom, right, a shot to the head. If you hit the body long enough, defenses go down, and then you go for the knockout. That's what they did. Every single day, every single second, every single hour, every single minute, every single second, minute, hour, day, week, month, year, everything was apoplectic. The sky was falling. We had record low unemployment. Trump was a Russian Manchurian candidate. Our democracy ended. The day that he was elected president, they never gave up. And they were completely engaged in only hyperbole. He was the worst despot and tyrant. But he was doing the same things in terms of immigration as President Obama. President Obama deported more human beings. The cages were built during President Obama's, or they utilized during President Obama's administration. None of the people that cared then. These people are duplicitous. They're disingenuous. But they have the media by their side. You had articles orphaned by deportation. I think there's a Guardian article. Horrendous. A Senate investigation talked about how young people. I don't even want to even go there because the Senate investigation actually within President Obama's administration showed worse inhumanity when it came to that. When it came to certain activities that took place on that topic. And that was a New York Magazine article, and liberals said, well, it's too bad. Talking in terms of trafficking, okay, and immigrant children. And so, I can't get into it, but it's a New York Magazine article on a Senate investigation within President Obama's administration. The worst things took place in he destroyed a country in Libya. But see, again, There's only so much you can accomplish by pointing out hypocrisy, okay? It is completely futile and a worthless task or endeavor to debate a liberal, because anything that happens under their watch They just don't care. Goes in one ear, out the other. But President Trump, oh my God, this is unprecedented. This is, he tarnished democracy. He's breaking norms and traditions, even though they do worse, much worse. They went after Trump for a hot mic, which was not a deposition, which was a nonsense and locker room talk. I mean, absurd craziness, and then with Biden, he was actually accused of actually committing that act. And a police report was filed, but they didn't care. So you're not talking about individuals who, there's no acknowledgement. There's no baseline reality, which is what the left is saying, because they don't have a baseline reality. They're hypocrites. Anything that they do is okay under their watch. Anything that President Trump does was apocalyptic, horrible, the end of the world, the end of the world. And the reason that they were able to get away with all of this, in large part, is because of media. President Trump, for the next 4 years, Republicans who support President Trump have to create at least some equivalent to what Democrats have. Media is in the tank for the Democratic Party. Completely in the tank for the Democratic Party. And because of the algorithm, I can't really go into everything that they get away with, which is well documented, even in New York Magazine and other publications the left loves. But the thing is, how are you going to get back political power? You have to win the media battle, and you have to win a battle of emotions. What they're engaged in right now with the 25th Amendment and the impeachment again and all of this stuff, and what happened yesterday is a battle of emotions. They amplify and promote outrage and indignation when it comes to Trump. He incites all of these things. But when you have police officers who lose their lives or attempts on their lives, and when you have stores and businesses owned by people of all backgrounds being set ablaze, police buildings being set ablaze, you have curfews every night where cities are just basically not just locked down because of the pandemic, but because of the peaceful but fiery protests, $1 billion+ in property damage. They're okay with that. There's even a book that came out in defense of all of this. But we know the hypocrisy. How do we overcome this hypocrisy? How do we explain that President Trump was actually a very good president? Or how do we, for example, that's number one, the issues pertaining to media. We need to win the media battle, which we've lost the past 4 years, with the help of Republicans who were turncoats. How do you win the media battle? And number two, how do you win the battle of emotions? But number three, which is probably the most important, how do you ensure that Democrats don't engage in the same legal tactics they did to prolong Election Day? And how are you going to investigate for the next 4 years the 1,000 affidavits and the Peter Navarro report? That's 18 minutes in. I could have spent 2 hours talking about that, but you can't talk about that. So you're going to need you're going to need Republicans to investigate these things. And the same thing that happened in Georgia the other night will happen to Republicans forever unless they address the issues within this segment. You have to win the media battle. You have to ensure the Republican Party is a populist political party, not this corporate centrist nonsense where you can't tell the difference between Pelosi and Mitt Romney. There's a definite difference between Trump and Pelosi. Trump is a great president, one of the best in my lifetime, 1,000,000 times better than President Obama, and a trillion times better than Bush. And I explained in my last segment. Any president that destroys a country in Libya, which is what President Obama did, engaged in one of the most horrendous acts of any politician in the history of the country, or any country. But see, President Obama gets away with it because he's a good liberal. Bush gets away with all of his, horrendous foreign policy decisions that, destabilized an entire region of the world because He now paints, and he's on Jimmy Kimmel, and he's a good Republican. He doesn't tweet like Trump. What Trump did is he warped the minds of these people. He warped the minds of these people. And it wasn't really Trump, it was actually media. We lost the media battle, people. We lost the media battle. And because of that, we lost the legal fight in terms of the integrity of this election. If we don't address both issues, people who want an end to never-ending counterinsurgency conflicts will never win will never have another president that champions their cause. Give me your thoughts below. Hit subscribe right now. I'll be back numerous times.